Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am here with my web designer, Teresa Schlup, and we are talking about, why don't you tell them today, Teresa?
So today I wanted to share my top 3 tips for the DIY website designers out there because I know there's a lot of people who want to build their own website and there's so many tools available, making it that much easier, but you've got to have a plan in place before you dive into one of those tools.
And that is the biggest problem. I mean, I am, even when with my clients, they're working with web designers, they're still coming back to me for a lot of clarity because their web designer needs information. They can't just hire someone and say, do it for me. They need to provide them. So if they're doing it themselves, like we're talking about today for the DIYers, it's really the same situation, correct?
It is the same situation. And a lot of times, having your information ready, your branding and all of those details ready, is going to help you decide exactly which program or platform to go with, which template to choose, which service to choose. And so, knowing that up front is going to make your journey that much easier. And you're going to get your website up and going that much quicker.
So give us when you say, okay, so tip number one is have your branding ready. Give them the categories that at least they need to have a good feeling for before they do a DIY website and choose a template.
Right. And when branding in this particular moment, I'm talking about the visual aspects of the brand. So your color schemes, your logo, the fonts that you want to use, those kind of things. And having that figured out and up and going before you get started is really going to help you because some of the templates and platforms out there don't allow you to have a lot of freedom with changing those colors and changing those kind of things. And I worked with a client a couple months ago who had a website with a lot of black and yellow and not at all her color schemes, but the website platform did not let her change those colors at all. She was stuck with
Ah.
them. And so knowing what you want, and then when you research, does this allow me to change it to my colors? Does it allow me to have the freedom? You're going to be a lot more equipped to choose a platform that supports you and helps you in doing that. And I have a free branding class that in about an hour, you will have all of that done if you're interested in. So I'll post a link in the comments here when we're done, but it's incredible. You will be able to figure out your fonts, your colors, and everything. And it's a totally free masterclass. So now is the time before it goes away to dive in and take a look at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could have used that when I did my website. What I ended up doing is going over to Pinterest and looking at branding Pinterest boards and choosing like all the color schemes that I sort of liked, and then all the fonts I liked. And then I had to go back and cull through it. And it was a very lengthy process. I could have used a masterclass like that
Yeah.
back then. So, okay, you're going to post a link to that. So tip number one is have your branding colors, fonts, style decided before you start to try to DIY your website. Because if you don't have that ready, it's just going to hold you up and you may choose the wrong template when you're choosing because you don't have those things decided.
Right. And it could just be a template that really doesn't match with what you decide later on, which is going to lead you to a full on redesign of your website. And the goal is not to get a whole brand new website all the time. The goal is to create something that grows with you and adapts with you as you change your business.
That is the goal. Okay, so tip number two.
Know what you have to say. And I cannot stress this one enough. Know what you have to say. Know how you want to describe your ladder of services. Know what story you want to tell about the journey that brought you to where you are. Know what is the first action you want people to take when they land on your website. Knowing those things and what you have to say is really going to help you when it comes to choosing and looking at the different templates and sources out there, because a lot of times what we do is we choose a template that looks pretty and then we try to fill in all the blocks that they provide for us. And so then we wind up spending a lot of time saying stuff that has nothing to do with who we are and what we're doing.
Oh my God, I can't tell you how huge this one is. Really, when I start working with clients, it's the first thing they want to work on is the ladder of services and how do I portray it on my website in a way that's going to be attractive. So we work on that. And then their bio. We start out with your business in words, but then we'll tweak it. So yes, you want to have, if you're going to DIY your own website, these are things you want to work on in advance and at least have a really good feel for how you're going to approach it before you just jump in and again, kind of buy a template.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work for what you want to say. So know what you want to say, know what you're offering, at least right now in your world. What are you offering? And
Yep.
how do you plan on portraying that on your website in words so that when you're doing your website, you're not getting held up by all those wordsmith moments.
Right. And here's a moment I would say that is, no matter what your budget is, this is a time to invest in getting someone to help you if you were really stuck. You can spend months trying to figure out what to say, tweaking, adjusting, and changing, and really stressing yourself out. Spend the money, hire somebody like Nancy, like one session, and you can have so much of this nailed down. It's incredible. This is the time where you want to invest money. You're saving money by creating your own website. This is a place where it's really to your benefit to invest money if you're really stuck on what it is you want to say.
Right. You need someone who's a little bit of a wordsmith if you get stuck. And listen, when I'm doing my own stuff, I need to reach out to someone because the shoemaker can never see their own shoes and how they can be improved. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I work with my copywriter, I work with my mastermind group, I work with you directly. I mean, I work with the people that I have in my inner circle to help me get that stuff out there because when I say it, it makes perfect sense to me.
That's right. That's right. It's true. Okay, so tip number 3.
Devote time specific to working on your website. So many people think that they're going to fill in time and do it a little bit here. And it'll be 9:30 with a glass of wine trying to do some website design. That's not the time to really be doing that. You want to devote time to doing this. So carve out, a couple hours to, once or twice a week or whatever the case is, but carve out time specifically to work on the website and don't just try to squeeze it in between appointments because it's going to stress you out.
One of the most interesting things that I have looked at is literally shutting down for a week and work on these really big projects. Can you imagine just shutting down for a week, meaning tell your clients you're on vacation, do whatever you have to do, look at your calendar and figure out when you may have a little bit of a gap that there won't be any emergencies and block out your calendar to get some of these big projects done that you've been trying to get done. And your website is definitely one of them because you're right. Doing it piecemeal, it drags it out and it creates all kinds of doubt in your mind too. Like you're doing it in pieces and you're like, every step of the way, you're like, is this right? Is this not right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the stress and anxiety that comes along with that. And then you start prolonging that launching your website, like, oh, I don't want to show anybody. I don't want to show anybody because you've just drug it out so long. It's a recipe for disaster. So dedicate time.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're a DIY website wannabe or you're already doing it, these were 3 tips today to get it done faster, more efficient, and in a way that hopefully you're not going to have to redo it over and over again. Right? Yeah. It's really
way. You're going to feel so much more empowered when you take the steps, when you take a step back, focus on your message and your branding first before the design. You're going to know that you're on the right track.
Yep. So in other words, get all your pieces to the puzzle set up. What's it called in the cooking world, Teresa? Meijin, like where you're supposed to cut everything up first, get it all ready. So when you make the recipe, everything's already laid out. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah, like laying out all of your ingredients, have them prepared and ready to go so you can just toss it together and serve it.
Branding, pictures, bio, everything, or service models. Services, your copywriting, have that all at least a really good preliminary layout so that when you load it up there, it's quicker for you.
Right.
So let's see, we have one comment here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mine is being worked on as we speak. Should be completed this week. Excellent.
That's so exciting.
That is exciting. Oh my God, new websites are so exciting, which I'll be working on one soon with Teresa too. It's time for me to do a redo. So, all right, everyone, enjoy your Wednesday. Thank you so much, Teresa. Put the link to your free branding masterclass. And I highly suggest everybody do that before you take on doing your own website or even giving it to a web designer. You should do that first. All right.
Absolutely.
See you next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Have a great day.